Imagine having everything you ever dreamed of, only to see it all crumble in a single day. Sounds impossible, right? Well, that's the story of Job. He was a man of immense wealth and great faith, living a life that many can only imagine. However, in the blink of an eye, he lost everything. Yes, everything. But Job's true strength, even without anything, revealed itself in that moment. In this video, you will discover a journey of pain, unwavering faith, and the incredible human capacity to rise again. Prepare yourself for a narrative that challenges the deepest beliefs about suffering and reward. We will see how Job, an example of integrity and devotion, faced unimaginable calamities, always maintaining his faith. You will learn not only about the biblical story, but also about how to apply these teachings in your own life. If you have ever gone through difficulties, you will identify with Job. If you are looking for inspiration to maintain your faith in times of crisis, you've come to the right place. Job shows us that, even when everything seems lost, faith and perseverance can bring about a restoration greater than we could imagine. So, if you're ready to embark on this journey of learning and reflection, stay with us. We will see that, just like Job, we all have the capacity to find strength, even in the darkest adversities. And don't forget, Job's true strength, even with nothing, is within reach of all of us. Job was undoubtedly the most prosperous man in the entire East. He owned vast amounts of land, herds, and servants, living a life of abundance and comfort. His wealth was so immense that everyone around him recognized him as an example of success and prosperity. But, as life can be unpredictable, even those who have everything can lose it all in the blink of an eye. Job, even with all his fortune, knew that true strength did not come from material goods. In addition to his material possessions, Job was blessed with a large family, consisting of 7 sons and 3 daughters. This righteous and upright man lived in harmony with everyone around him, demonstrating that Job's strength, even without anything, would be the same. His interactions with his children were marked by feasts and celebrations, where joy and family love were palpable. These festive gatherings symbolized not just material prosperity, but also the emotional and spiritual wealth that Job possessed. Amid so much success, Job never failed to recognize the importance of spirituality in his life. He had a deep relationship with God and understood that his strength, even without anything, would remain unshakable. This spiritual connection was the foundation of his integrity and his ability to face any adversity. Job knew that, regardless of the circumstances, maintaining faith and righteousness was what truly mattered. His story teaches us that true strength comes from within, not from the material goods we possess. Job was not only a prosperous man but also deeply devout and careful with his faith. Every time his children held feasts, he would rise at dawn to perform rituals of purification. This involved offering sacrifices to God for each of his children, a practice that demonstrated his concern for spirituality and the righteousness of his family. He believed that, by doing this, he would be protecting his children from any sin they might have committed in their hearts. These purification rituals that Job performed were a way to show his dedication and strength, even without anything, always seeking to maintain the connection with God. He knew that, regardless of his prosperity, spiritual purity was essential. Imagine someone in your life who, despite their achievements, never loses sight of the importance of caring for the spirit and soul. Job exemplified this dedication in a deep and sincere way. Job also taught the importance of these practices to his children, wishing that they too would recognize the need to maintain faith and righteousness. He was not only concerned about his own spirituality but also about that of his family, ensuring that everyone was in communion with God. This constant care is a testament to Job's strength, even without anything, a strength that comes from unwavering faith and dedication to what really matters. He reminds us that true wealth lies in our relationship with the divine and with others. On a fateful day, Job's life changed drastically. While his children were feasting, several messengers arrived bringing devastating news. Enemies attacked and took away all his oxen and donkeys, killing the servants who cared for them. Another messenger reported that the fire of God fell from the sky, burning all the sheep and servants. And finally, A third messenger brought the most painful news. A powerful wind had knocked down the house where his children were, killing them all. Job, even without anything, felt the pain of profound and immediate loss. Job's strength, even without anything, manifested in his reaction to hearing these devastating news. He tore his clothes, cut his hair in mourning, and prostrated on the ground, worshiping God. Instead of blaming the Lord for the tragedies, Job declared, "The Lord gave, the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." This attitude of faith and acceptance in the face of such monumental loss reveals the true strength of his character and his unwavering trust in God. He teaches us that, even in the most painful circumstances, we can find comfort and purpose in faith. Job's story makes us reflect on our own reactions in the face of losses and adversities. Job lost everything of material and emotional value in a single day, but maintained his integrity and faith. He is an example that, even when we lose everything, inner strength and spiritual connection can sustain us. Job, even without anything, showed a strength that few can comprehend, but that all of us can aspire to have. He inspires us to look beyond the circumstances and find strength in our faith and our relationship with the divine. Despair took over Job as he realized the extent of his losses. Tearing his clothes and cutting his hair, he expressed his deep pain. Despite all the suffering, Job did not turn against God. On the contrary, he prostrated in worship, recognizing that everything he had, including his life, was given by God. This strength, even without anything, evidenced his unwavering faith and his ability to maintain integrity even in the face of the greatest adversities. Amid his suffering, Job found the strength to continue worshiping God. He declared that he came into the world with nothing and would leave in the same way, accepting both the good and the evil that happened to him. This act of unconditional faith showed that his relationship with God did not depend on favorable circumstances. Job, even without anything, maintained his inner strength, something many of us can learn and apply in our own lives. He teaches us that true faith does not waver in the face of adversity but remains firm and confident in the divine purpose. Job's attitude in the face of suffering is a powerful example of resilience and devotion. Even when his wife suggested he curse God and die, Job rebuked her, showing his determination to remain faithful. He teaches us that, even in the darkest moments, we can find strength in our faith. Job, even without anything, did not stop believing in the love and justice of God. His story encourages us to seek that same strength and resilience in our own lives, trusting that, despite the difficulties, there is always a greater purpose. During his period of suffering, Job's friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, came from afar to console him. They sat by his side for 7 days and 7 nights, silently sharing his pain. However, despite their physical presence, Job felt misunderstood and alone. Job's strength, even without anything, was reflected in his ability to continue believing in his own integrity, even when his friends began to suggest that he had sinned and was being punished by God. Job's friends tried to find rational explanations for the suffering he was facing. They believed that Job must have committed some serious mistake to deserve such a fate. But Job, confident in his innocence, refused to accept this perspective. He felt humiliated not only by his losses, but also by the lack of understanding from his friends. This period of suffering and forced consolation only reinforced Job's strength, even without anything, showing that he trusted more in his relationship with God than in human interpretations. Despite their good intentions, the consolations of his friends ended up being an additional burden for Job. They could not understand that Job's suffering was not a divine punishment, but part of a greater test. Job, maintaining his integrity, called for a direct audience with God to clarify his situation. He teaches us that, even when those around us cannot understand our pain, we can find strength and solace in our faith. Job, even without anything, remained steadfast, awaiting a direct response from the Lord. Finally, God responded to Job from within a storm, challenging him with questions that revealed the vastness and complexity of divine creation. God questioned where Job was when the foundations of the earth were laid, or who closed the seas with doors when they burst forth from the womb? These questions served to show Job the greatness of God and the insignificance of human understanding in the face of the mysteries of the universe. Job's strength, even without anything, was tested, and he understood the depth of divine wisdom. God continued to interrogate Job, emphasizing his own majesty and supreme power over all things. He spoke about the limits of the seas, the creation of the stars, and control over the forces of nature. These revelations brought Job a new understanding of his position in the world and divine justice. Job, in the presence of God's greatness, recognized his limitation and declared, "I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know." Job's strength, even without anything, became more evident as he bowed in humility before the infinite wisdom of God. Job realized that, although he had suffered immensely, his faith and trust in God were not in vain. God's response not only reaffirmed divine justice and sovereignty but also restored peace to Job's heart. He understood that Job's strength, even without anything, came from his deep faith and acceptance of God's will. This moment of revelation and understanding paved the way for the next phase of his life, a phase of restoration and renewed blessings. Job, now with a broader view of the divine purpose, was ready to receive the rewards of his unwavering faith. After all the ordeal, Job remained firm in his faith and, as a result, God restored his fortune. He received twice as much as he had lost: 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. In addition, Job was blessed with another 7 sons and 3 daughters. This restoration was not only material but also spiritual and emotional. Job's strength, even without anything, showed that his loyalty and integrity would be abundantly and divinely rewarded. Job's restoration was a testimony to the justice and generosity of God. His brothers, sisters, and all who knew him before came to his house, bringing silver and gold rings. They comforted him and rejoiced with him, celebrating the transformation of his fortune. This public recognition not only reaffirmed Job's strength, even without anything, but also restored his position in the community. Job shows us that, by maintaining our faith and integrity, we can overcome even the most devastating adversities and emerge stronger and more blessed. Job lived another 140 years after his restoration, seeing his children and grandchildren to the 4th generation. He died old and satisfied with life, with his unwavering faith being a powerful legacy for his descendants. Job's strength, even without anything, was the foundation of his ability to face all trials and tribulations. His story inspires us to trust in God, even when we face losses and suffering, believing that divine justice will prevail and that we will be restored in ways we might not even imagine. And so, what would you do if you lost everything overnight? Job's story shows us that true strength is not in material possessions but in unwavering faith and integrity. Job, even without anything, maintained his trust in God and was greatly rewarded for it. Now, I ask you, how can you apply this lesson in your life? Are you ready to face your difficulties with the same strength and determination as Job? Believe it, life always challenges us, but it is in adversity that we find our true character. Ask yourself, am I prepared to maintain my faith even in the most difficult moments? What steps can I take today to strengthen my relationship with God and others? These questions are the first step toward true transformation. And remember, just like Job, you too can find strength and hope, even when everything seems lost. If this story has touched your heart, be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notifications. This way, you will continue to learn and be inspired by more stories and teachings that can transform your life. Share this video with friends and family who need a dose of hope and faith. And, of course, leave your comments and questions below. Let's build a community of support and inspiration together. See you in the next video.